1942, and this is me, Scout McGarry, here at the One Shot Derby. A lot's changed in the war effort. There is a war effort now in America and the world. I'm a little flustered, I must admit, as we begin this year, because programming-wise, we are still doing the same thing, and yet everything has changed. Hello, here, me, Scout, ripped buttons, but I do have a brand new horse, and his name is Gloves. Welcome to the One Shot Derby!
Whee! I can't believe you dropped that buttons died, but now there's gloves. What a rich person thing.
I was going to say the rich person's horse.
If your gloves have buttons, you're rich. And if they don't,
that is true.
In this situation, as it's 1942, I feel like Nazis killed buttons and the United States government gave Scout a new horse, and I don't think that's a rich person thing. I think that's just what happens.
Well, I hate to rain on this parade, but I don't think America has entered the war effort yet.
I thought last we left off it was December. And
it was December 15th, 1941 when we ended the last episode. I wrote it down.
Was about to happen.
Pearl Harbor happened. And then we said, the vibe has changed.
Here we are in early 1942. We've gotten through Christmas and a New Year, and a lot of our resolutions are about killing the Nazis.
If I got the year of Pearl Harbor wrong, I do need to know, though.
No, it's December 7th, 1941.
Okay, great. So we are 8 days post Pearl Harbor at the end of episode 1. We are a month and a half post Pearl Harbor in episode 2. Welcome, folks, to the One Shot Derby, where, of course, we play the character creation sections of different tabletop role-playing games, and they'll let you, the people, decide which one we play out into a full one-shot. My name's Amanda McLaughlin, a.k.a. the voice, but not the intellectual property creator of Scout McGarry, daughter of Scoot McGarry, son of Jerry McGarry.
I thought you were going to say the voice, but not the body of Scoot McGarry.
Well, you can't prove that.
See.
No, I'm like Stan Lee. I'm Eric Silver. I own the IP of Scoot McGarry.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And that's why you appear in the background of every Scoot McGarry feature.
That's true.
In the Scoot McGarry cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And even when you die, we'll continue that tradition, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll just have AI slap your face onto Tom Cruise's face in more and more unrealistic Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, but I'm letting Brandon control only this portion of my post-death existence.
Eric, if you give me even this inch, I will fuck you up in death.
I really want a Succession situation where Julia, Amanda, and Brandon fight over my
life rights.
My life rights.
Brandon, can I suggest that after Eric dies, you create some sort of sound, much like the Wilhelm scream, that other sound designers can put into
that's very good.
the cinematic universe of some kind?
Can it be my klaxon? That would be great.
That would be great.
That's really good and also very practical and smart and honest and good and genuine. I was hoping you would say, Brandon, when Eric dies, you were going to create a puppet of him and just pretend to marionette him on every JTP episode.
No, I want the one Julia said. If I could say something about that, I want the thing Julia
You're
said.
dead. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not dead yet, motherfucker. Ba, 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 ba. Here are my guns I have from World War II. They're not that good.
Now, Brandon, you could, do what Eric suggested, which is his excellent klaxon, or you could just pick a really embarrassing sound.
Oh, well, let me see what I have in my folder of Eric embarrassing sounds.
Oh, you definitely have this folder. I know you do.
Yeah, I definitely do. I have one for everyone. Let's see. For Eric, we've got Eric's eh. We've got his Godzilla. We've got Eric saying good fucking idea. We've got Eric's heh.
Wait, how are those two different? Just real
one
quick.
has an H at the top and one doesn't.
Gotcha.
Brandon, can you play one now?
Eh.
And I'll play the other one?
Heh.
Love it.
Distinct.
I also got Eric saying shut the fuck up. And I've got Eric saying, that's called a yes and.
Nice.
I want that's called a yes and. Put that in the background of so many scenes. Like someone in a crowd, regardless of what's happening, says that in the background.
Do you want to guess what Julia's funniest? Julia's is by far the most racy out of all of ours.
Yeah, Julia's definitely, I just got back from getting my dick sucked.
Yep.
I don't have that one, actually,
What?
because it was Twitch and it was hard to find.
Stream.
Yeah,
It's on
sure.
YouTube. Yeah, it was the last one of whichever Twitch stream it was.
I've got... Julia's are so funny. I've got Julia saying, hole so deep. I've got Julia saying, I'm furious! I'm furious! And I've got Julia saying, pussies!
Yeah.
Oh, I've also got Julia saying, skin blue, dicks out.
Skin blue, dicks out.
Bro, you didn't see that one the first time? It was hidden. You had to
Page two.
Brandon had to move a curtain aside to see it.
It's redacted.
Incredible.
I've also got Amanda saying, "Oh, the devil's butthole."
Yeah. I like that you remember the intonation of these two.
Yeah.
I've listened to them so many times.
Brandon, I don't think you need to keep any for Amanda because one, she's going to live forever, and two, she's going to say something nonsensical every single episode.
Yeah. Well, at some point, I will put these on a soundboard so I can use them as little, like, I guess responses. Like, and I've got nice ones for Amanda. Like, I got Amanda going, "Oh my God, I love that."
Cute. That's great. I do just want to say that if anyone in the Join the Party audience is proficient at coding like the equivalent of a Flash-based website in the mid-2000s, and they want to code a virtual Join the Party soundboard, I, for one, would be very open to putting that just available for free online to sort of spread our influence.
I like it.
Well, this is a certain amount of eldritch horror underneath a cozy and comfy situation, isn't it? Much like we're seeing in our game that we're playing today called Brindlewood Bay by Jason Cordova.
Yay!
I'm just going to read from the introduction because I'm so excited about it. I just want to read exactly what this game is if you haven't heard about it. This is a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, who find themselves solving actual murder mysteries in their quaint New England town. They become aware of a dark occult conspiracy connecting the murders and will eventually have to defeat that dark conspiracy to save their community.
Hell yeah.
God,
Love
this
it.
game, it rips.
So this was one of the games that I think you suggested, Eric, and in reading the playbook, which is usually like, for me at least, feels a little tedious sometimes, like, I have to go through the rule book, like that's kind of annoying.
I'm above the rules.
I have not liked a game so quickly as beginning to read Brindlewood Bay.
Well, I'm going to tease this for the audience. In a few days, you're going to listen to an interview that I did with Brindlewood Bay creator Jason Cordova.
What?
Because I needed to talk to him about this game. I've been so interested about it. But it's like, so this is a powered by the apocalypse type game. It is based on the game Apocalypse World. We've talked about this because this is also the basis of games that we've played before, like Monster of the Week. And one of my favorite tabletop RPGs called Masks. It's very much a form following function type game. You use this setup of like rolling 2d6, fail, mixed success, and success. And ordinarily, these games have playbooks. Remember back in Monster of the Week how we had, what were the three of your playbooks? Do you remember?
I was the spooky.
I was the acolyte.
And yeah, I was the archivist.
Very much about like giving specific playbooks so that you can inhabit specific types of characters from fiction. You were all different characters from Buffy or from X-Files or whatever. In this game, in Brindlewood Bay, you're all Golden Girls, Murder, She Wrote style old women.
Yeah.
And so the character creation we're going to do is much more similar, except you all have like specific, closer to like personality types or qualities or abilities that are going to define you, and yet you're all very similar women. It's like the character creation is going to be very more straightforward and yet like propulsive because of the choices that we're going to make here during this character creation episode.
It's the opposite of you meet in a tavern, isn't it? Like, it's not randos who cross paths in a place where randos are known to cross paths.
Right.
It's, hey, we have established relationships. We are friends because we have things in common. And our character creation begins with that premise, which for me is very cool and creatively stimulating.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Is the opposite of that a breakup at a AA meeting?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is also probably the most modern game that we've played. Like, this game was written 4 years ago. It also got expanded from a 32-page playbook to a 168-page playbook a few years ago based on a Kickstarter.
That's
so it's like,
wild.
this is very much postmodern as opposed to, Inspectors and Fiasco came out 10, 15 years ago.
Wow.
Even Monster of the Week is a legacy game. This almost feels like it's in conversation with the boom that happened to tabletop RPGs over the last 10 years, and Jason like pushing that forward in the way that Monster of the Week is supposed to recreate the story of a Monster of the Week style TV show. This is mashing up Golden Girls, Murder, She Wrote, 70s, 80s, 90s TV and mysteries with the occult and murder mystery storytelling, which I find so interesting.
And Eric, you mentioned that the specific character creation, like episode 1 mechanics really worked for you as another reason why this game was so good.
Yeah, the One Shot Derby was created to spotlight games that had really good character creation. So we're going to go through the Session 1 step-by-step guide that is in the Brindlewood Bay book.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, how do we all feel about playing older women? Or how do we feel about Golden Girls or Murder, She Wrote or these types of TV shows?
I like A Murder, She Wrote. I haven't watched a ton of episodes, but I would die for Angela Lansbury if she wasn't already passed away, R.I.P.
You can still die for her. She doesn't have to be alive for you to die.
I know. Well, I feel like dying for her when she's already dead. I don't know if that
It's the
works,
ultimate
really.
sacrifice.
Yeah, well. And then I love like small, sleepy town that has hidden, dark, ethereal, occult secrets underneath. Like that is so my shit. I love that.
Yeah, I have not watched a ton of the, like, you might need to explain some of the references in here to me, but I love the aesthetic of it. I think it's super fun. And I also am an old lady on the inside. So
This is true.
It works. Yeah.
Now, Brandon, you only have one layer on right now. Is that okay for you? So
I
you have a
was
space
just
heater?
thinking this.
Do you want to go get a cardigan?
Shut up,
No,
guys.
Brandon has accepted after living on this earth for 80 years that he's always cold.
Yeah.
I see. The thing is that I'm from Texas, and so my average room temperature is like 82.
Honestly, Brandon, I really hope that you play a Texas granny who's moved, because we're all now living in this New England town. I'm definitely going to play like a New York transplant. I'm very excited about this.
Incredible.
Of course you are.
And I absolutely eat this shit up. I love a cozy mystery. I love Miss Marple, for Brandon, sort of like canonical detective character of like the old lady who is underestimated because she is a sweet old lady, actually solving shit in her town. There's like Father Brown, who is a priest or a reverend, whatever they call him, who does similar things in like the English cottage town. But also my grandma is a huge reader, and we have a 2-person book club where we read grisly murder mysteries. She is bored by the cozy murder mysteries. You can definitely read lots of series where it's like, I run a cupcake bakery and like accidentally, like there was a hand in my flour. And Jamie's like, no, I need more. So we read like grisly murder mysteries together.
She just like saw the novelization.
I mean, basically. So I am so excited to live what I hope is my future and my fantasy of being in a murder mystery book club that also solves real murders.
Hell yeah.
You ever worry that your grandma's gonna murder someone?
No, she'd be really good at it though. She did just get a new hip, so she is like good to
Spry
go.
as fuck.
She
She's
could be
good to
out
go.
there now.
She's spry.
Your grandma is would do one of the plots where like you grow a specific flower and no one knows what that flower is, but
yeah.
like its pollen can be reduced to be a specific poison that gets slipped into a baked good. She would 100% do that.
Yeah. Jamie's growing a peach tree so that she can use the arsenic inside of the peach pit. Or
Oh, don't worry. Brandon's putting on a cardigan. It's okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yay.
Oh, no. It's the sweatshirt
It's not a
that I
cardigan,
know.
guys. It's not a cardigan.
It's a
I'm not that
layer.
cool. It's just a fucking hoodie.
Even I don't love this specific genre of storytelling. I watched quite a lot of Golden Girls because my friends are very much people who watch a lot of Golden Girls and stan Angela Lansbury, so I know a lot of these references. But also there's a lot of just like straight up 70s, 80s, and 90s TV show references that I know. But I love a postmodern examination of a genre and the facets of the genre I'm just super stoked to be a part of this. So here's what we're going to do. We are all going to create characters and go through the Session 1 step-by-step guide. Whoever ends up being the keeper, I think their character should die.
Retire.
No,
What?
die.
Retire
They're
permanently.
the
No,
first
it's part of the
victim.
mystery.
No, I know.
They're
I know.
first victim.
And then we'll thread that into the storytelling of where we're at here.
Cool. I'm into it.
And best for 3 players. So 1 keeper, 3 players is what the manual calls for.
Love
It also says, "Dear God, don't do more than 5,"
Yeah, no.
which is very funny.
I'm going to shout out to anybody who ends up purchasing and reading this excellent book, which you definitely should. I love that it tells you what to do. And it says, don't do this. Please do this. Hey, it's not fun if you do this or don't adhere to this rule. Like it is good to read. It is well written. I am just such a fan right away of reading this book. Just like you said, Julia, it both like made me excited to play it and also made me think like, yes, I do want you to give me the recipe. Like, please give me the recipe for fun. And this game very much feels like that.
Yeah, I was telling y'all before we started, like, this is by far the best written TTRPG handbook I've seen.
Yeah.
And granted, it obviously goes on the backs of giants, but like the way it details how your session goes and like all of the X card stuff, how you set up your narrative session, it's just really well written out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's tight as hell.
We are going to be using the 168 page because we bought it because we pay for our tabletop RPGs. But it really is worthwhile for how much care has been put into the expanded version.
I might buy a physical copy of this, like genuinely.
I kind of want a physical copy of
The art is beautiful too.
Yeah.
Well, all right, folks, you want to get started?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're literally going to go step by step here. It also includes time estimates for each step. I absolutely love this. Okay.
It's really like taking care of the people who are going to be playing it. Like it's like, hey, look, we know maybe you don't want to sit here for like 4 hours doing character creation. Here's how long everything is going to take. I love that.
When to take a break. Yeah, scripts to say, which I find so helpful if I'd never GM before. And I was like, okay, welcome to my table. Like it gives you an excellent sense of how to get started.
Hell yeah.
Not that you need it, Eric, but, for others.
For others.
Right. Okay, so step 1 is read the text. I bought the game a few weeks ago. I sent it around to everybody. We've all read it. I read it kind of back to front in case I am the one who ends up being the keeper. Also for me to just kind of better understand some of the mystery elements of how the game runs. Remember in Monster of the Week how it was set up in this way of you trying to unpeel things? There's a real you all trying to figure out the clues sort of thing, which is the basis of how sessions are run from the keeper towards players perspective.
Yep.
All right, step 2, we gather play materials. We won't need dice, but we will when we're playing. We'll need index cards to make character name tents, which I think is really cool. We'll also need to track clues and suspects, so keep that in mind. We're going to need notes if we end up playing this. A pencil. Everyone needs a pencil. Enough character sheets for each player to have one. We all have character sheets. Copy of the reference sheet with all of the moves and stuff that we're going to need. Copy of our Maven move sheet. We're going to get to that in a second. A mystery sheet and our conspiracy sheet. That's going to be for the keeper to keep track of all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Step 3, gather participants. We're all here.
We've gathered.
Hi.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm gathered.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is what Amanda was talking about. Can I read it out loud?
Please.
Brindlewood Bay works best with 1 keeper and 3 players. 1 keeper and 2 players and 1 keeper and 4 players also work well. Avoid playing Brindlewood Bay with 5 or more players.
I honestly kind of love that this game is good for 2 players.
Yes.
We've always had this tension on this show, which is 3 players and 1 game master felt like the minimum. But this game is like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
You're okay.
You're good.
It works.
Step 4, player and keeper introductions. We can go around the table. We should say our name, our pronouns, and anything else the group might find interesting about them. You could skip this step if you're playing with a group of friends who know each other.
We're not going
well.
to skip this step.
We're not
right?
going to skip this step. Thank
Okay,
you. I
fine.
thought the exact same thing.
Okay, Amanda, you want to go first then?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name's Amanda.
I'm sorry. I mean, player number 1. Do you want to go first?
You in the gray sweater.
Yes.
Who came in from the cold.
My name's Amanda. Pronoun she, her. I'm cool with a they. You can throw a they in there. I'm fine with that. And a fun thing about me is that... Shit.
This is why I wanted Amanda to go first.
Well,
You guys are so ridiculous. How it's like, no, we're doing the step. And then it's like, I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know what I was saying.
What am I supposed to say?
my fun fact is that even though I am lactose intolerant, my favorite cheese is goat.
Ooh.
Real.
It's worth the pain.
Real.
Hi, player in the other cute sweater. Who are you?
My name is Julia, she, her. I guess you could throw in a they if you're nasty. I like that.
Why not?
And something interesting about me is I like to embroider and I like French knots the best.
Ooh,
Oh.
True.
a cozy hobby.
Oh. Hi, my name is Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi,
First time,
Brandon.
long time.
Are you here
my-
to break up at the AA meeting?
Yeah. My pronouns, I use he, him, but I don't really care. You can call me rat if you want, whatever.
Just don't call him late for dinner.
Just don't call me late for rat dinner. Rat dinner.
Rat dinner. It's a dinner, you're a rat dinner.
Please, please, guys. This is supposed to take 2 minutes only.
Something that you might find interesting about me is that I recently played pickleball against my not old parents, but not young parents. And we won only 3 games to 2, me and my brother.
Great.
Damn.
Incredible.
They have more practice than you. It's fine.
Oh, it wasn't fine, Julia. It was really embarrassing.
That is a good fact.
And you with the striped shirt.
Cutie whose wedding ring matches mine. How interesting.
Oh my God. I'm Eric, pronouns he, him, and I've invited you all here because there's been a murder.
Whoa, my dream.
All right, let's go to step 5, which is called CATS. It's an acronym that stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. This is presented by the keeper and helps to establish some basic expectations of how the game is going to proceed. It's a low-stakes way for the keeper also to get accustomed to being the spotlight. So I think reading text out loud and people listening to them, which I think is actually really good. So here's the script. I'm going to do CATS. It's an acronym. Boop, boop, boop. Here's the concept. Brindlewood Bay is a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, who frequently find themselves investigating and solving actual murder mysteries. They become increasingly aware that there are supernatural forces that connect the cases they're working on, and in particular, a cult dedicated to the dark, monstrous aspects of the goddess Persephone will come to vex them.
I know her.
I've heard of her. The game is directly inspired by the television show Murder, She Wrote, but also takes inspirations from the cosmic horror genre, mystery books, cozy crime dramas, and American TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Aim. The aim of the characters in the story is to keep their community safe by investigating the murders taking place there. Our aim as players is to learn more about these characters, as well as paint a vivid picture of the town of Brindlewood Bay, a responsibility that we all share.
Oh, man.
The aim, Brandon, you know some people do say that. The aims of today's session are to create and introduce our characters, learn the basics of how the game works by playing it, and then have a debrief period at the end. So we're going to go through nearly all of the steps and then stop before the actual mystery starts.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Tone. And actually, I want to talk about this a little more because I'm very interested in this part of the game. Tone. The tone of this game bounces between cozy and creepy. Most of the time, the game will be fairly lighthearted, but occasionally it will get very dark and menacing. Some kitschy, campy humor is permissible here, and very much in keeping with some of the game's inspirations. But above all, your characters should take everything they do very seriously, even if we're having a bit of a laugh from time to time. There's also some game mechanics that facilitate this, which I find really interesting. Like, there's always this phrase that goes around when we, in this, like, new style of storytelling tabletop RPGs, where it's like, be a fan of the players. Like, it's not my job as a keeper to kill you. It's my job to make sure everyone has a good time. But there's actually things that the keeper can do to make that happen. And there's two that I want to talk about really quickly. One is the crown, where you can there's things on everyone's character sheets where you can either put on the crown of the queen or the crown of the void, where you reverse failures into successes by like putting yourself out there. It's almost like a luck mechanic where the more you use it, the worse the repercussions are. But you should do it if you need to, and then you explore things inside of your character, either you as a woman and you as a family member and things about your character, which is what you do with the Crown of the Queen, or you accessing the terrible cosmic horror parts of yourself with the Crown of the Void. And you get to choose which one you're going to explore that.
Love it.
Love it.
The other thing that I really like is that if something really bad happens, the keeper can cut to commercial.
Yes.
This is my
So
favorite
good.
mechanic of any RPG I've ever read.
It's honestly, it's so good.
Can we just do a full mini session of this? Like, I just want to do a little mini series
only
already.
if the people vote for it, Julia.
Listen, we can tell the people what we think, but ultimately it is their ranked choice voting that determines what happens here. So I'm feeling great about this so far.
Yeah.
I still want to do the murderous. Like, I'd be down to do either one at this point. I really want to say that.
As long as the Electoral RPG College votes for it.
But you can cut to commercial, and then the person who failed has to do the commercial that would be directed towards people watching the Brindlewood Bay TV show. And if they do a good enough job, you immediately switch it to a success. But I love that you're supposed to play out the repercussions if you had failed. But then it's like in this alternate timeline we're now in where you succeeded, what do you want to have happened? Which I love. It's like you see all aspects of what this story could be.
It's so respectful to what happens and what the dice tell you to do, while also acknowledging that I'm going to have an emotion about that and like giving me the option to put myself out there to change it if I really care about it that much.
And some soft improv for people who are scared of improv, which I like.
Yes.
It gives you a lot of suggestions of commercials. So
Soft improv is when you talk about like having sex with a pillow, right?
Gross, Eric. Inappropriate for this children's game.
This is not a children's game. We are exploring the womanhood of these elderly women in Brindlewood.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So I like that we're going to be able to bounce between failure and success, but also bouncing between horror and cozy. So it's like even when bad things happen, we're going to have to return to our coziness, both in terms of like the way that we use coziness as an escape from our lives, but also making sure that we're not only in toxic positivity and actually move stuff forward, both in terms of the plot, but also us having fun together and needing conflict to tell a story.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about subject matter. Murder of all varieties, threats to animals and children, ritual magic, human sacrifice, and other dark subject matter come up in this game from time to time. We'll talk about safety tools in a moment, but in the interest of setting expectations right now, you should know that while the game is generally lighthearted, some intense subject matter can come up. All right, let's go to step 6, safety tools. We've talked about some of this stuff before. We've talked about the X card before, where you can usually you would point or touch a card which has an X on it on your table, say, I don't want to do this anymore. There are lines and veils, which is where I don't want to cross this line. I don't want to talk about this subject, or veils where, hey, let's just kind of fade to black on this subject and not play it out. I feel about veils with sex a lot. I'm like, you know what I don't want to do is listen to Brandon talk about his character getting his dick sucked.
But what if I talk about having sex with a pillow, Eric?
Oh, that's funny. That's funny and good.
It's veiled.
And there's something called the open door policy, which I think is interesting that I haven't seen written out here. You can leave the game for any reason and you don't have to explain yourself. Just let us know you have to go. No one here will ask any questions about it. So, which I think is interesting.
I think it's really good. And Jason also cites the sources and the origins of all of these mechanics, which I have never seen done in a game before. So thanks, Jason.
Me neither.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, let's go to character creation. That's where we are, step 7. Before we begin character creation, I want to tell you a little bit more about the things these women have in common. First, they all had a life before Brindlewood Bay. They had a career and a partner who is now deceased.
Aw.
They may or may not have children, but pets count. And so,
As do plants, Amanda.
and I was going to say, if pets count, plants count. You don't need to dwell on their backstory too much yet. We'll discover more about them as we play the game, but start to think about these basic details as you create your character. At this point, I'm going to pass out character sheets, which we all have, and have everyone make their maven. Players can do these steps as they wish, but they should stop when they get to the section of their character sheet called a cozy little place. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to choose a name. There's some name suggestions here. We're going to choose a style of how you dress and your whole vibe as an older woman. We're going to circle a cozy activity. Each of us need to have our own cozy activity that we do on our own little hobby. We're going to add 1 point to one of the abilities that we have here. We have abilities like we do in other Powered by the Apocalypse games, which kind of dictate the pluses and minuses we will do with moves. We have vitality, composure, reason, presence, and sensitivity, I think, to the occult.
Yeah.
Not like
okay.
not like emotions.
Listen, I would trust a game that told me what my sensitivity level was in terms of my emotional state.
I love that.
Sensitivity, parentheses, ghosts.
And then we're going to choose a Maven move from the Maven's move sheet. There are so many of these because Jason is a benevolent god. We have a set of Maven moves that are inspired by 70s, 80s, and 90s TV shows. And we also have some Maven moves, which were the alternate versions that got added for the Kickstarter, that are inspired by mystery stories, so like detectives. The funny thing about it that I read in the book is that all of the moves are named after men because the women are the characters and the men are the props, which I find very funny.
That's very good.
Which I love. So we're all going to do this, and then we're going to come back together and share our characters.
Hell yeah.
Let's
do it.
While you gather all the extra tin in your house for the war effort, we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Amanda, and this week's soothing mid-roll is brought to you by a cup of tea at the perfect temperature. When you almost forget about your tea and then you're like, oh my God, I hope it's still warm enough, and then you go to pick it up and ooh, that's exactly the right temp to start sipping at that tea. Welcome. Thank you, and a special welcome to our newest supporter on Patreon, who this week is a mystery recipient of a gifted membership. Is it you? Check your inbox. Did you know that you can give a month or even a full year of Patreon membership to a friend or loved one? If you are loving the One Shot Derby and want to make sure all of your pals can listen to the final episode, sign up now. Remember, only patrons will hear the final one shot, though everybody's voice can be heard as we vote at the end of the Derby for which of our games we will play out. We can only make this show because of your support on Patreon. So if you want to get the final Derby one shot, if you want to get ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, our bi-weekly party planning podcast, and of course, access to our patron-only Discord, you gotta come on over to patreon.com/jointhepartypod. Hey folks, we are having a live show in Portland, Oregon on March 23rd. Come on through. If you are within driving distance of Portland, if you want an excuse to visit Portland, it's pretty affordable in March because that's not like high tourism season. Come on over. Or if you know somebody in the Pacific Northwest and you want to make them go so that you can say that your friend went, do it. Get your tickets now at jointhepartypod.com/live. Tons happening over at Multitude these days, and I would love if you checked out Big Game Hunger, a weekly comedy show where Jenna Stieber and friends craft the next big video game every dang episode. Every single Monday, Jenna and pals start with a randomly generated genre, concept, and vibe, and go through the logical extent of these ideas, taking it far enough that they could, in theory, pitch it to a shadowy board of rich investors. Big Game Hunger is an incredible time. I promise you're going to love it. If you loved the time loop episodes in Camp-Paign 2, you might be interested in what's going on Big Game Hunger right now. So go on over into your podcast app, open it up right now, click that search icon, and type in Big Game Hunger. Hey, we know you like great storytelling, and we think you'll love the radically honest stories on the podcast Risk. Risk is where people tell true stories they never thought they'd dare to share, like the one about the guy who cooked and served his own leg to his friends in taco form, or the woman who found out that the person she was sharing kinky fantasies with online was actually her dad. Oh no. If you think you've heard it all, just wait until you hear Risk. Listen to and follow Risk on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you brought all your tin cans to the post office to exchange them for milk ration tickets?
No.
If not, you should. I'm Scout McGarry. A lot of you have been asking about my new horse Gloves, and one great thing about him is he loves alfalfa. Happily, that is a cover crop that is not currently very useful for the war effort, so Gloves is having a great 1942. Now, back to your program. Support the war. Don't ask about internment camps. Goodbye.
All right, I need to take this away from Scout.
Yeah.
Hold on. All right, so we're going to go around and introduce our characters. Because it's important for us not to have the same qualities, we're going to go around in the same order and say our name, our style, our cozy activity, and our maven move. And we're going to fight to the death about holding on to our qualities for our maven. So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I was going to say, do we want to determine an order similar to how we did with Fiasco?
Who has the most number of denim shirts?
Okay.
For me, it's 2.
It's also 2.
I don't think I have any anymore.
I think it's
well,
1.
Actually, I think I have 3.
Okay.
Oh, it's Amanda.
All right, I should go last then, because I have the most denim shirts. That's embarrassing. So the order is going to be Brandon, Eric, Julia, Amanda.
Fair enough.
Okay, great. Well, I'll start with my name then. And I was immediately, first thought, best thought, Amanda style, attracted to the name Violet. I don't know why,
Aw.
but I liked Violet.
I like that a
Great
lot.
name.
And then I looked up sort of jazz age old last names to see what would sound good with it. And I think it's going to be Violet Buford.
Ooh, I like
Ooh,
that.
good one.
Great name.
Yeah. So
She
nothing
sounds
funny,
elegant.
but I think Violet Buford.
Nice.
I
love
love
her.
Violet already. I was attracted to the name Billy. I think it's great when older women have men-sounding names because someone had to do that. Gave them that nickname when they were playing stickball in the Bronx.
Yep.
Or that their parents were hoping for a boy.
It could be, it's both, Brandon. It's both. So I'm going to go with Billy Blitzer Reinsdorf.
Reinsdorf. That's fun.
Fuck, Eric.
Now, Eric, what historical athlete did you take that from?
I took that from 2 owners of NBA teams.
Yep, that's
Nice.
good.
Yep. So Billy Blitzer Reisdorf.
Oh, I thought Blitzer was a nickname. Great.
Oh, she hyphenated. Got
She
it.
hyphenated, yeah.
Got it.
Very progressive, Billy.
I didn't pick a name from the list because
Shocked.
I was feeling inspired.
Shocked.
Everyone's shocked. I went with Sybil.
Ooh.
Good one.
Okay.
And then I was trying to, it was just a first thought, best thought, Sybil Valentine.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's from something, and I Googled it, and I think it's someone's character from a Final Fantasy game. I don't think it's a canonical character from a Final Fantasy game.
Okay.
I think you're combining stuff. Valentine is a last name that I think a lot of fictional characters have.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
that's good.
I like
Yeah.
it.
And Sybil is very Final Fantasy coded.
Yes.
And my name, so I named myself in Camp-Paign 2 after my grandmother I didn't know, Margaret Aggie McLaughlin.
Oh, I didn't think I knew
and,
that.
Yes. Yeah. And I am naming myself today after my living grandma, whom I love, Joyce.
Yes.
And my character's name is Joyce Mellon.
Yeah.
Joyce Mellon!
Mellon.
Sniped.
That's
My-
my
Joyce Mellon.
favorite type of melon.
One of my grandmas was also named Joyce.
My grandma's also named Joyce.
We had
Yeah.
some-
My grandma's name was Mel.
Julia's grandma Joyce and my grandma Joyce once met on a beach. And my grandma walked away being like, I think Joyce doesn't like me. And I'm like, that's not true, Grandma. And she
No,
was
she
like,
just
I
liked
don't know.
No, Grandma, she's Italian. It's fine.
Joyce is decidedly German.
So is mine. I thought they had so much in common. But,
Yeah.
you know, you can set your grandmas up on playdates. They don't always, they don't always become BFFs.
I've started trying to set my mom up on playdates too, and she does not know what to do.
Yeah.
Fair.
What the fuck do you do on a play date with an adult, Eric?
Make him get coffee or
No,
hike.
you just tell them to go do something.
Go talk. Yeah.
Imagine
go do
yourself
it.
as an older adult, Eric, and tell me exactly what you do on a play day.
But they're better at talking to people than
Go play
I am.
tennis or something.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know.
they're going to synagogue together. You know? Okay, let's go to style. So there were some suggested styles. Both our fashion style and I think our whole vibe that we're bringing. Some references to here. There's Jackie O. There's Martha's Vineyard. There's Blouse Barn. There's some really good ones here. Brandon, you get first pick. What is your style?
Well, you guys shouldn't have let me get first pick because my first thought when I was reading this was, I'm going to play a very sex positive old lady.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
What flavor? Up in pumps? We're high femme?
I'm just calling it sex positive. I don't know what up and pumped exactly meant, but that was the one I thought
okay.
was probably closest, but I don't know what
Yeah.
that exactly meant.
Yeah. Up in pumps to me is giving like a Miranda Priestley, a Miranda from Sex and the City.
No,
like
okay,
we're
not
dressing
that.
like a lawyer.
Oh, I thought
Not
that was
that.
like office hours in my mind, but
Got it.
Got it.
interesting.
Mine is more like it's the sweet old lady who does the cozy activity that I will name later, who then starts talking about how to find the clitoris, and you're like, whoa!
And so are we like flowy caftans or are we like push-up bra and like, oh, she still got it?
No, flowy caftans kind of situation.
Oh, you're
Oh.
oh god, you're Barbara Streisand in Meet the Fockers.
Probably yes. I haven't seen it in a long
I
time,
like
but
that.
yes.
Gotcha.
Can I, Brandon, may I call this style sex therapist? Because that is
Yes.
giving sex
Yes.
therapist.
I like that.
Yeah.
100%. You know, it's like I do this at the high school. I could just do it for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that, Brendan. I think it's great. One jumped out to me really quickly. I got to do this. All the cardigans for this boy right here. For my cardigans, I want all of my cardigans to have like intricate pastoral landscapes on
Yeah.
them. Like someone
That's really good.
has stitched many a sunset, many a forest, many a sheep in a barn sort of situation on the backs of them. I want them to be really, really intricate.
And if this was a TV show, it would be like a little reference to what the mystery is going to be about based on like you see the first scene and you're like, oh, she has a sunset cardigan on. What's going to happen
I
in
love
this
that.
episode? Yeah.
That's great.
I like that. I've already started thinking about this, but because the game tells you this is a small New England town and you had a life before this, the entire time I was like, Billy definitely grew up in New York City in the 60s and like knows people from there and now like lives here.
Yeah.
The other thing, I also promised one thing about my character to Jason Cordova, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. It might come up in play, but you can listen to the interview and you can hear what I'm going to say.
Ooh,
Interview dropping for free on Friday as a bonus episode for everybody on jointhepartypod.com.
Yeah.
What? Oh shit! I gotta edit that still.
Whoa.
Hold on.
I decided for Sybil, I'm going hippy dippy.
Yeah.
Those are Birkenstocks. There's overalls happening. There's
So
like
crunchy.
no bra ever. It's all hippy dippy, baby.
She's never worn a bra in her life.
Never in her life.
Not once.
Never.
Well, she did, then she burned it, and
Yeah.
since the 60s,
okay.
it's been a
Yeah, she
no.
burned it and she said never again.
Never again.
I
Never again.
owned one bra and then I burned it outside of LBJ's house.
True. It's true.
That's great.
And then he came on to you, and it was really weird.
Yeah,
God.
always.
That president talked about his penis a lot. True story.
Too much.
He didn't talk
True.
about it. He took it out all the
Brandon,
time.
I didn't. No, I know.
That man loved to take meetings on the toilet.
Joyce Mellon's fashion is going to be equestrian.
Wow.
Ooh, I like that. I like
that's
that.
not even on there, Amanda. You making shit up.
I am making shit up. My grandma rode horses with me when I was a kid, and she was in her like 50s and 60s. And I think it is very cool and going to tie into my cozy activity, provided that I can get it. But I don't think any of you are going to choose the one I'm going to choose.
Now, you do mean like Northeastern equestrian, not like cowboy, right?
That's right. So
Yeah.
this is in the sort of like Martha's Vineyard. It's like a Martha's Vineyard subgenre. So she'll wear a lot of like, like
Riding
nice
boots
sort of
and stuff.
jeggings
Yeah.
tucked into a boot, like a turtleneck or like a close fitting sweater, and then like a barn coat over it. So what you'd imagine Martha Stewart wearing.
Right.
And a helmet.
And a helmet when
Yeah.
riding horses.
I only ask because my grandma also rode horses with me when I was younger, and she was in her 50s or 60s, whatever it is. But she
Aw.
wore, more like denim
Jeans.
shirts and jeans and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, Northeast Equestrian. Thank you.
Lovely. All right, let's go to the cozy activity. There are some really good suggestions here. This is very also important. No two mavens can have the same activity. That's been underlined. So another bloodbath here.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm happy to change stuff, so let me know if anyone has their heart set on this. But I chose baking as my
Okay.
cozy activity.
Okay.
I also chose baking.
Mm.
Now, this I tied mine to my move,
Okay.
but I can change mine as well. But baking worked the best for me
Let me
because
do.
I wanted to make something.
Let me do pottery then, because I think
Okay.
there's a lot of.
That's what I thought you were going to go with, Brandon.
Honestly, Julia,
because-
I didn't see it till just now.
Okay. I was going to say Brandon's going to go either painting or pottery, and it's going to be all nudes.
I think pottery is better because she can make toys.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Fair,
you can make,
fair.
much like Val's mom from Campaign 2, you could make mugs with boobs on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
You could also do sculpture. I think that's
Oh,
a fun one
sculpture would
as
be
well,
fun.
Brandon.
Let's do sculpture. I like that, Julia.
Sculpture's good.
I'm picturing how genuinely useful a spoon rest in the shape of the vulva would be. Like, if you just think about it for a second, that's very... That's
Fucking true.
nature's... I'm not going to say nature's spoon rest, but
It is nature's food rest, though.
it is pretty helpful.
Honestly, that's got to exist. That's really
See,
good.
Brandon, you don't need to keep a file on her. She'll just say it.
She'll just say it.
All right, yes, I would really like to do baking, and
All
you'll
right.
see with my Maven move what I'm
Great.
looking for.
Cool.
Cute.
Mine was cooking, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to go a little off script. So one of the ones that I was really drawn to is antiques and furniture. And I was like, ooh, furniture restoring would be really interesting. But you know what I'm going to do specifically? Leather work. That's what I want to be Joyce's hobby.
Oh.
That's wild. I love that.
And Violet can tell you maybe how to use leatherwork in a different way.
Hey, ho.
You know what?
Consensually.
If
Hey.
Violet has friends who want to commission specific pieces, I think Joyce would find that really fun to work on.
A couple of harnesses.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Not for the horses.
Oh, maybe for the horses, but
Probably not for the
consensually.
All right, and now we're going to our Maven moves here. So there's a few different, again, Maven moves are really the defining thing that your character can do that other characters cannot do. It might help you in being a detective. It might help you just with a stat bonus. It might give you something extra, something from your experience in your past life that helps you here. Brandon, I would love to go first.
Go for it.
Okay. The reason why I want to do baking is because I think that Billy bakes too much. She does not know how to bake less than 24 at a time, right?
My favorite kind of friend.
Relatable.
And she spends a lot of time giving her baked goods out to everyone in town, whether it's to, people that she sees on the street, whether it's to people she wants to bribe. Here's a muffin here, a cookie here. But I think it's important because she really likes to bake because it keeps her relationship going with the murderers that she knows in the jail.
Are you doing the Clarice Starling?
I would love to do the Clarice Starling.
Holy shit, man.
Yes.
This move has no function until you solve a mystery and put a suspect behind bars as a result. Therefore, you can name an imprisoned suspect as your consultant. Once per mystery, you can go to the prison the consultant is being held in and ask them about the mystery. This triggers the meddling move, as it would when questioning any other character, but the consultant's answers and behavior are affected by your most recent mark on the Crown of the Void. I want to bake so that I can get information from bad people.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
That's dope
great.
as fuck.
I'm not afraid of them. I think that they like me because I bring them a muffin. I bring them a scone, and then I'll be able to ask them what's going on. I think this is also helpful because, again, we talked about the crowns. I think that I will also definitely indulge the Crown of the Void more if I end up playing this character, and I'm excited to like push myself in that direction.
I love that.
Hell
That's
yeah.
great. Now, isn't Clarice a woman, or is that just in the movie?
The alternates were named after people from Mysteries.
Right.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I think if I could do that, I would love this.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I love
I'm
that.
into it.
Do it.
All for it.
Wonderful, thank
Enjoy.
you.
There's a lot of good ones, and I just want to say that my Brandon's real life one is the Frank Columbo one, which is something about you causes the elite of society to not take you too seriously. What is it? And then once per mystery, when you do the meddling move in a place occupied by the rich and famous, you can add an additional clue even on a miss. So that's just my personal move. Just wanted to say that.
I thought your personal move was Encyclopedia Brown, where you introduce a piece of real world trivia
That you
about
learned on an
something and it's a
airplane.
clue.
Eric, that's only in the air. That's only in the air. You talked about
Encyclopedia
before.
Brown's never been on an airplane.
That bitch is only like 10.
Yeah.
So I'm going back and forth between two of them. Maybe y'all will help me solve this mystery of which one I should do here. On the one hand, I really like the Jim Rockford one, which was at the beginning of each session, the keeper will narrate an answering machine message you received. The message is always from the same unknown person, and they will ask you to do some particular task seemingly unrelated to the mystery. If you complete the task in the same session it was assigned, mark XP. The messages and tasks will get increasingly strange and disturbing the more marks you have on the Crown of the Void.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's just really cool. The other one, which I thought would be fun, was Milton Hardcastle, which it just says, you have an additional end of session question that is always marked. Quote, did you inflict extrajudicial punishment on a wrongdoer?
Well, I think it has to do, Brandon, with
Did you
whether
beat
or
up that
not
man?
you want your sex-positive sex therapist
Yeah.
to constantly hurt people really badly.
I don't know, man. I think it's pretty fun. I don't know. What do y'all think? Which one's more fun?
I feel like as a player, you often want to do the thing that is right for your character and the plot, but doesn't necessarily advance the story. That Milton Hardcastle gets at. Like in the longer notes for the move, it says like you should choose this if you like a character with a strong moral compass, and I think your characters always have that. So my vote would be for the Jim Rockford, because I feel like, and again, I mean sex therapist as a fashion, not a profession. Is I think that you would have a variety of interesting people leaving you interesting messages.
That's true.
I
Sure.
also would love. I would love to put my vote towards Milton Hardcastle, because if this is a question you ask at the end of session, if the answer is yes, you get XP, which leads to your advancements.
Right.
So that's the real bonus that you have here. If you end up doing justice, then you get more XP.
Mm-hmm. And Julia, what's your vote? So it's 1-1 right now.
I like the one that is the answering machine one.
Classic Julia.
Okay.
I do. I like an answering machine.
All right.
I like to move things along.
I think for Amanda's point and for the vote, I think it'd be fun to do the answering machine Jim Rockford move. And I think it'd be funny if every time it was a client.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that's very fun.
Or if it's always the same unknown person. So maybe it's some old client of
You just assume it's one of your clients, and then they increasingly tell you to like go do stuff. That's crazy.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Jim Rockford.
Love it.
Beautiful. All right. So I'm between a couple. I was originally kind of interested in the Frank Dowling, which is you have a strong religious background, describe it. When you use this move, describe how your faith is helping you resist the void. Because in my mind, again, Sybil is hippy dippy. I think Sybil is very like spiritual.
Sure.
I also think she is high out of her fucking gourd 90% of the time.
Sybil loves a Tibetan prayer flag.
Yes. Now, the problem with the Frank Dowling is you can only use the move once. So that's like a little, I'm not entirely sure, right?
Yeah. It's also about like unmarking every box on your Crown of the Void.
Which is like interesting and
Long
kind of
term.
cool. But that's a long-term one, and it wouldn't really
Especially because
impact.
Brandon and mine also involve the Crown of the Void at this
Yeah.
point. So that I wonder if you can go to different direction.
All right, I think this is the one I'm going to go for. And it's because, again, in my mind, I'm creating my backstory for Sybil. I think she, like, used to own a health food store
Sure.
or maybe like a vegan diner or something like that. So I really like the Frank Columbo. And I think I'm going to use that one.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Love a Columbo.
Something about you causes the elite of society to not take you too seriously. What is it? Once per mystery, when you do the meddling move in a place occupied by the rich and famous, you find an additional clue even on a miss.
And it's being crunchy, right?
Yes. Well, the thing is, I remember the pilot episode of Columbo, how he's talking and he just makes the biggest fucking omelet ever while he's talking. And I'm like, I think because my thing is cooking, I'm just constantly being like, yeah, let me like whip you up an omelet and tell me about that murder.
I just love you walking onto like a yacht and going to the galley and making the largest green smoothie you've ever seen.
Yeah. And when they try to interrupt me, I just turn the blender back on.
It's like, oh, there's the spirulina. Actually, just grab. There's the $60 an ounce bee pollen that I needed and throwing it in there.
Now, I must ask, are you going to pull an Amanda and have granola in your pockets at all time?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
And also weed.
Don't mix those up.
Okay, first I have to remember which move I thought Julia would take because I lost $100.
So Amanda told me, I know exactly what move Julia is going to take, and I'm betting against myself $100. And I said, great, tell me.
Was it the dream one?
It was one of the, yes.
I thought it was going to be a dream one, too.
Yeah, well, Julia...
I wanted to stay away from what I did for Phoebe, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to separate the babies a little bit.
That was the Dale Cooper.
Which is, again, if I was playing myself or playing like a different character, that would be appealing to me. Also the Encyclopedia Brown. If I was just playing Julia, I would do the Encyclopedia Brown one.
Of course.
If I was playing Eric, I would have done the Milton Hardcastle. Well, I also want to give a shout out to Jason again. I think this game is so good. Is like he's taking something which the dream sequence as a tease of the session is something that is so PBTA coded.
Yeah.
But yet he's like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Twin Peaks layer on top of it. You know, the prestige TV dream sequence, whether we're talking about Twin Peaks or The Sopranos, which we've talked about before, like it's so ridiculous and so much more different than I think the one that we tried to do in Inspired by Buffy that we did during the Camp-Paign.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Sorry, Amanda. We lost Amanda $100. The move that I like the best for me, because it's the kind of thing that I know I would really enjoy, but also for Joyce as a leather worker, is the MacGyver. So when you improvise in a situation using whatever is at hand, ask other players and the keeper to name 3 objects you find in the environment. So long as you can give a plausible explanation for how these 3 objects together are helpful in the current situation, you get an automatic 12 plus on a single associated dice roll. And this move can be used once per mystery.
I loved that one, too. That was really fun.
Yeah, I'm very much from a family where it's like the tin can of wires is over there and like let's see if it's helpful in this situation. But also leather workers can do all kinds of stuff with all kinds of like rivets and scraps of leather and tools, and I think it'd be very Joyce.
Hell yeah. I love it. I also want to give a shout out to the Phoenix Wright, which I think is very fun, which is whenever you find a clue that is an object, you can physically manipulate the object to uncover a further secret about it. A hidden detail, a secret compartment, a scrawled message, etc.
That's cool, too.
This extra detail is added to the clue. It cannot cause the clue to conclusively solve the mystery by itself.
I also lost $100 to myself. I guess that one of you 3 would choose something, but it's one of Jason's favorites, so I'm going to keep that unlocked.
Did I consider doing the Michael Knight, which is where you have a trusty mode of transport and make it a horse? I thought about it, but I like the MacGyver
That would have
better.
been really funny, though. It's like you're fast traveling and you hop on a horse. Like the horse doesn't appear any other time other than when you're traveling.
No.
I also like when you read it, you have a trusty mode of transportation that has gotten you out of more than one sticky situation, but it's a horse is very funny.
You know, Joyce in her middle 80s, you know, can't be leaping up on horses and doing kind of high risk activities like that anymore, but she sure can fashion anything she needs out of a garage sale.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
Well, one thing that I want to note, just because we love numbies here, is that we are, I want to talk about the abilities for a second. We have modifiers here. Each of our characters start with a 0 in vitality, a 1 in composure, a 1 in reason, a 0 in presence, and a -1 in sensitivity. Vitality is about strength, dexterity, endurance, athleticism, or physicality. Composure is anything that requires a steady hand, a calm disposition, or concentration. This is or avoiding fear. Reason is about studying or anything that has to do with mental faculty. Your presence is trying to charm someone, intimidate someone, or capture someone's imagination. And sensitivity is if the Maven's action involves occult or supernatural forces.
Parentheses, ghosts.
I think I'm going to do composure because I think it takes a certain level of like
Oh, yeah.
ignoring social mores and norms to be this type of sex positivity person, you know? So I'm going to
You
do
can't be
composure.
shocked. She's
No.
seen it all
Can't be
before.
Seen it all. Can't be shocked.
I'm adding mine to vitality because I mean, leatherworking is a very physical hobby, and I think Joyce, it is important to her to keep her body as spry as she can.
Yeah. Her riveting muscles are huge.
Oh, yeah.
I was originally thinking composure as well, just because, like, if Sybil worked in, like, a kitchen for most of her life, that would make a lot of sense. But I think because I like this idea of her being hippy-dippy and very spiritual, having it for sensitivity.
I think that's the move, yeah.
Totally.
I like only you having a 0 while we all have -1.
It's very Julia coded.
And I put 1 in presence. I thought, being able to, it makes it a little bit easier when you give someone a scone to ask them a question.
And when you have such, like, conversation-starting cardigans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I think the end credits of this TV show would be like, what's that very famous old quilt about the Norman conquest?
The Bayou
The
tapestry.
Bayou. Oh, of course, it's French, not English. Okay. Anyway, I think our end credits would be embroidered on the screen for Eric's cardigans.
I love that.
Okay, so now we're going to go around and have each character describe 3 aspects of their backstory. Deceased partner, if they have children, pets are okay, and so are plants, and their career before they retired to Brindlewood Bay. And then the rest of us are going to name 1 object that can be found in our Maven's home in Brindlewood Bay.
Oh, so we introduce a object that is found in the other player's home? Oh, I like that a lot. That's very fun.
Yep. I think for my deceased partner, I was hoping they would put a parenthetical S at the end of that because,
Oh, sure.
Oh, of course.
of
You
course,
could have multiple, yeah.
yeah, Violet's had many husbands, wives, partners, non-binary folks. I think so. Countless people that she's going to bring up at inopportune moments to be like, "Oh yeah, my ex-partner used to do that."
Are they all deceased?
Yes.
Okay, they all predeceased her?
That's devastating.
Devastating.
The trail of death.
Yep.
Have we considered that she's a black widow?
We haven't
Julie,
not.
she's just old and fucks.
But the most recent deceased partner, I think, is going to be a man named Julia. Tell me if there's a better name, but like something like Bill or something like average, because I think he's sort of like
Jack.
that. Yeah.
Gotta be a Jack.
Gotta be a Jack.
Gotta
Very
be a
youthful. Youthful, hot Jack.
Yeah, Jack, but he's like that sort of like not bumbling, but exceedingly average man that's like, balding, and like always smiling and just like sort of a happy-go-lucky white guy that's just like, why are you two together?
Oh, Brandon, can I suggest something?
Yeah.
Can his name be Dick?
Yes, his name can be Dick.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Thank
And
you.
what he always used to say is, she heard my name and got confused.
Yep. Or got excited. She heard my name and got excited.
Yeah, and she never looked back. I love that of like her. It's like, you know what? I need a nice man. And then of course, and now that time ran out, and now she's looking for something else.
Well, it's not that she needs a nice man because all of her partners have been nice, but he's just like, it's one of those things where you just don't get it unless you're like watching them fuck,
Oh,
and
sure.
and like Dick is really good.
Okay, no, I understand. I thought it was like, my life has been like the thing you do when you get older is settle down, and he needed to settle down with this boring person.
No,
but I
no,
like
no.
that he's not. I like that Dick is not.
She's
He's just
always
like,
been very mature, and all of her partners have also been mature. They just died.
Got it.
I think children, yeah, I have a bunch. Probably like 3, maybe 4, all college age, and we have a great relationship. And they're all like, growing up, they were embarrassed with their mom, but now they're like super proud to have like the cool mom,
Aw.
And my career before I retired, I don't want it to be actual sex therapist, right?
You could be.
It could
Why
be.
not?
You could be a psychologist and like got into that. You could be like a columnist. Remember that Ask E. Gene?
Mm-hmm. I like columnists. That's fun. Let's do that.
That's good.
Yeah. I will be a former columnist in a well-known magazine.
Love it.
You were the best sex columnist in Fort Worth. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
Damn right.
Goddamn right.
Not in Dallas, but in Fort Worth. Okay. Oh God. I don't think I ever married. If I had a deceased partner, I think probably the closest person who I worked with is related to my career before I retired to Brindlewood Bay. I think I was a PI. A private investigator.
Ooh.
Damn.
Again, like, you know, when we're talking about like movie cops here of like supposedly they know what they're doing and do it. But again, like I don't want to be like a formal police. I want to be PI. I think of being a woman in this situation. Again, like I grew up in New York City. I lived in New York City for an extended period of time. Allowing me being a woman allowed me to do things where people didn't expect me to, go to places, take photos.
Yeah.
And I think that I had a partner who I was close to and died under mysterious circumstances.
Oh,
no.
Unresolved thread.
No children, but I do have a big slobbering dog who I give a lot of leftovers to.
That's good.
What's his name?
Brutus.
Yeah.
Does Brutus have any cardigans or sweaters for the wintertime?
Oh, you know Brutus got sweaters. You know Brutus got sweaters.
You know it.
I've also had like 10 Brutuses.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You just keep, it's Brutus the 10th.
Yeah, like this is Brutus X, but I just don't bring it up. And they're all just like the same slobbering bulldog.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
English Bulldog?
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck yeah. I think Sybil's former partner's name was Caroline.
Aw.
Nice.
I think she was like the handyman around town,
Aw.
like did a lot
Cute.
of fixing. And I think they had a son together who Sybil named Orion, but he hates it, so he just goes by Ryan. And
That's awesome.
Ryan has actually taken over her former business, which is like the health food store / cafe in town.
Oh, sure.
Cute.
So is she from Brindlewood Bay?
Yeah, I think she's a Brindlewood Bay original.
Love it. Okay.
Can we give Caroline a memorial bench and like saw sharpener at the local hardware store?
I think definitely there's a bench. I think Caroline was also really into like bird watching, so like maybe there's a bench in the park for Caroline.
Is there like a
that's good.
tea blend or like a granola that's named after Caroline in your
Oh
shop,
yeah,
too?
definitely there's a granola for sure, and a particular smoothie.
Love it.
It's beets.
Ooh.
Caroline thinks you need more fiber.
So, yeah.
Caroline knows you need more fiber.
Mhm.
You're right. Incredible. So Joyce's name popped into my head because I want her deceased husband to be named Morty Mellon. Mortimer Mellon.
Morty
Mortimer Mellon.
Yeah, Mortimer. Mortimer was a scholar of Yiddish and a professor and writer. And because Joyce is in her mid-80s, that was enough to support both of them. So Joyce spent most of her work and life as like a full-time homemaker. I think they had a bunch of like informal or like foster kids. Like they never had biological kids, but there were a lot of people who were either students of Morty's or just like, teens and people who needed somewhere to go, that they have tons and tons of people who like send them, Christmas and Hanukkah cards and, send Joyce flowers on Mother's Day. And all of them are grown, scattered, and she, talks to somebody on the phone every day who treat her as a mom or grandma.
That's really sweet.
That's
I love
really
that.
sweet. It's really cute.
All right, let's go around and put some stuff in our friends' houses.
Yay!
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's do Brandon's first.
Yeah.
You know what's already in there, so don't even go there.
Well, I was going to say, I think you have a sculpture of one of your previous lovers. It is full size and like erect.
Maybe I hang my hats on the.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, certain parts would be at handbag height.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
yeah.
helpful.
Well,
Yeah.
unless it's on a pedestal.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Scarves, hats, gloves, whatever.
The real hot frosty of it all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Violet has an original painting by Georgia O'Keeffe in there.
Oh, is it not? Is it we
Yes.
each get one object?
Yeah,
So
we're
each of us gets to assign you an object.
Oh, cool. I thought it was one after total.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Eric, that's very good.
Original Georgia O'Keeffe. Like, you knew her. She gave it to you at you were visiting the Southwest, and you met
is
her.
fucked.
Like, you could have fucked. But she gave you an original.
That's
Love that.
incredible. And I think the last thing is that you have like a very high-powered pottery kiln. I think like a local like business or university or something was, going out of business or needed to get rid of it, and you have like a way too powerful commercial grade pottery kiln.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Is that where my
love
old partners went? Who can say?
I do think it's in an outbuilding
Oop.
of your property.
Oop. All right, folks. Bill, let's put some stuff in Billy's house.
Key to the city for New York City.
Yay!
Yeah, Mayor Dinklage gave it to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible. I think, Billy, that you have a collection of old-timey magnifying glasses.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah.
And there is one specific magnifying glass in the collection that you use both to read the obituaries, but also is your favorite. Love to like see extra stuff. Like you really pay attention. You break it out for special occasions.
I love that.
I think you have the world's either largest, you can help me out with this, largest or most pristine DVD set of your favorite television show.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I think it's
God.
probably like a Columbo or something, but you can choose whatever you'd like.
hmm
Brandon, you know Billy loves Seinfeld.
Yes, I feel. But like, yeah, it's like you've been on the news for it because it's so like you have episodes that have never aired,
Oh, sure.
You've got like
yeah.
the original copy of the pilot.
Yeah.
So I have any secret Seinfeld memorabilia.
You have the uncut version of the pilot. You have all the raw footage.
Yeah.
You have all the actors in a glass box in your background.
Well, you helped out a DP back in the early 90s in New York City.
I know Larry David, please.
Yeah, that's it.
That's true. You're both from New
She's
York.
got the key to the city. She knows Larry David.
I know. Yeah. Oh, God. I love that I got the key to the city, but also no one cares. Like, no one showed up to that.
It was on a Tuesday at like 1 p.m.
Yeah, there wasn't even a ceremony. They said it to me. They called me like a problem consultant. They never didn't
Cool.
describe what it is. I love that.
Yeah.
Sick.
Sybil.
Sybil.
Ball.
I think you're going to sense a theme here, a commercial dough mixer, like a Hobart dough mixer from the 60s. Not like the gigantic ones in commercial bakeries, but like a person-sized, but like not for personal use, like very powerful. If you take the cage off, it could take off a hand mixer.
Love it.
And the mixer has a name, and it's up to you to figure out the name.
Mhm. Clara.
You have the grossest, slimiest, most large kombucha SCOBY that you've
Hell
ever
yeah.
seen in your fridge. It has a name. You feed it every week or whatever you need to do, and it's been alive since like 61 or whatever.
It's Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna give you something big, Julia.
Cool. Damn.
I think because you've been living here so long, because you're a hometown hero, that you have something that people are envious of, but you didn't know it was important when you put it in 75. You just thought it was something that would be good for you. You have an entire outbuilt sauna, like
Cool.
like a shed that Caroline built for you, and it's again, think of how expensive this would be now if you were putting it now, but you've had it forever.
Yeah.
And it works incredibly. Like
It's wet and dry.
wet and dry, depending on if you put steam in there or just hot coals. It's also probably longhouse shaped. I think it's like the size. What was that show, the British show where people put do insane
Grand Designs.
Grand Designs, yeah, where people do incredibly ridiculous home renovations. Someone did an entire thing that was based off of like it wasn't a longhouse, but it was like the shape was like 10 or 12 sided buildings that were supposed to fit together in this way. And I just love it being this like big octagonal sauna that you have in your backyard.
Love it.
Hell
That's
yeah.
cool as hell. I like that this is supposed to be my cozy little place, and you gave me a sauna.
Yeah,
That's cool as fuck.
Whatever.
Well, one of the moves also allows you to be like rich and have crazy stuff in your house. The Nero Wolf. So I like that we're still playing in the universe of the game.
Hell yeah.
All right,
I love
folks.
it.
What has Joyce got at home?
Oh, well, you have 50 books written by Morty Mellon.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. 50 books written by Morty Mellon himself. Dr. Morty Mellon.
Dr. Morty, yeah. The funny thing I had in my head was like, this comes up on Reddit a lot as like a today I learned, but like a rapper mentioned Morty Mellon's book series in a very popular song.
Yes.
And then like Genius and all of those like a music YouTube and like all of these things, it regularly comes up like where this came from.
Here's
I
the
love
thing, Eric. It was a Snoop Dogg song.
Right.
Because what I'm going to give Amanda is correspondence with Martha Stewart.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, letters
That's
from Martha
really good.
Stewart from the past 20 years because you guys are pen pals.
Incredible. Thank
I
you.
love that.
I think you are the person around town that goes full out on holidays.
Nice.
So, like, you have a huge collection of, you could choose your holiday of choice if you'd like, but, like, I was thinking, like, Hanukkah decorations or whatever it is.
We do full Purim. We do full Sukkot.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, yeah.
huge, big old, like, things you put in your yard, lights everywhere. Like,
Amanda's got a 12-foot tall skeleton.
Yeah.
Arbor Day, Election Day, Halloween, New Year's Day.
That'd be such a wild move for the game to have built in, which is like a holiday celebrant. And it's like whatever you need decor-wise for whatever holiday you have on hand.
I just laughed because I looked down and I wrote down secret Seinfeld memorabilia.
Yep.
It's a good game.
Yep.
it's not secret, it's public. They wrote an article about you.
I'm trying to figure out if you got the key to the city before or after your obsession with Seinfeld and which one would be funnier.
I mean, I definitely got the key first.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
cares, but I have it.
Yeah.
All right. So ordinarily we would use this time to take a break because
Is
that'd
it
be-
time for me to talk about rationing again?
No, we've
Nope.
already done that.
Nope.
No, we already did that.
If anyone over the break this is step 10, if anyone had new lines and veils they wanted to introduce, that would be here. And then step 11, we would begin the session of the actual mystery.
Oh, actually, Eric, could I add a line or veil? Just
Sure.
to demonstrate what that's like. Something I noticed in the book that I loved is that typical areas of discrimination are not like a social limiting factor in Brindlewood Bay. And Joyce is deaf, so I just wanted to point that out, and I wanted to put that in her character info.
Hell yeah.
Great.
Love that.
Great.
So ordinarily we would start the beginning of the mystery because there's like end of session stuff or beginning of session stuff that some moves have, but we can just go right to step 12, which is where we're going to end. And I would love each of us to do a short, cozy vignette of our mavens enjoying their life in Brindlewood Bay. These scenes should be light and breezy or warm and cozy. They should show the maven enjoying her hobbies, helping with a community project, or working around her home.
Aw, I
Yay.
love that.
That's cute, yeah.
I'll go first.
Sure.
I'm picturing drone shot over over Sybil's house, and it goes over the house into the backyard to her huge outbuilt sauna.
Yeah.
And inside the sauna, she is like wrapped in a little towel. Her hair, which I imagine is like very like it's like bird's nest-y, you know, and like very like silver and kind of actually I think she's like salt and pepper, you know what I mean? And it's all kind of tied up in a big messy bun at the top of her head, and she's like reclined and is having a brownie and just enjoying that and just like, you know, checking her phone to see if Orion has any messages about the business, just in case he needs anything, some more of the granola mix that she usually makes on a weekly basis, and it's just vibing out and having a great time, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah.
What's she listening to? Is there something on the TV?
Ooh, a podcast.
Ooh.
I think it's like a weird like spirituality podcast being like, you know, sometimes we all have to let our energy into the universe. And whatever we let out into the universe, it comes back to us threefold.
Nice.
She's like, she's so true. So true.
So true.
So true, bestie. So true.
We get a shot from inside of the oven as we just see Billy's eyes looking at a souffle, which is rising. We just have like the little light that's lighting everything. Then we go back into her kitchen, and she has an oversized, like a really big egg timer that she is staring at intently. She's counting along with the egg timer. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Oh, I can't help it. And she hits the egg timer over. She opens it up. She pulls out the souffle. She takes out a ruler and she measures the puff. She's like, it's not good enough. Another one for Brutus. And she pushes it off. She pushes it off the side, and it falls right into Brutus's oversized dog bowl to accommodate a full souffle being pushed into it. And Brutus bounds over to it and starts eating.
So now we know why there's been 10 of these dogs.
Not chocolate souffle. Brutus is fine.
Regular. It's regular souffle.
I don't know if dogs should eat that much flour, but good for
Yeah,
them.
whatever.
Brutus is fine.
Brutus is the constitution of Winston Churchill.
Yes.
Brutus 10 is fine. Brutus is 1 through 9, not so fine.
Brandon, I have had Brutuses for 60 years. Most of them are fine.
Brutus 11, waiting in the wings.
Oh, I got to connect out in Ronkonkoma who breeds dogs for me.
You know it.
I think for Violet, it's one of those sort of like really light and breezy camera shots where it's like post-coitus and they're sort of like looking at each other through sheets, and there's like, you know, fabric everywhere and like
a real dead wife.
Yeah, exactly. Real
dead wife shots. Yeah.
Dead wife
Vaseline
shots.
on the lens.
Yeah.
But her partner is not dead, as in fact a let's say the lady who works at the post office.
Great. Hot.
And they get out, and you see another shot where they're like sharing a breakfast in bed. And then you see another shot where they've gone to her art studio where Violet is teaching her how to do sculpture. Sexily. And then, they're both wearing like really nice silk robes. And yeah, it's this really nice day of what their activities get up to, you know?
Violet, I still need your signature.
You still have to pay for those stamps, Violet.
That's really
It's a federal crime to not have you sign for your package.
Violet was so wrapped up in the sex, she forgot she had to sign for her package.
Who
So
hasn't,
funny.
man?
She does this every time she gets a new mail person. They're like, "Can you sign for this?" And she's like, "I can sign for your package."
It's like, well, you have to come inside. I can't see.
Would you
in
like
this
some
light.
lemonade? I made some.
I can hold a pen with my yoni.
Oh, goddamn. Joyce, come on, Joyce. Give us a scene.
All right. Joyce's vignette begins with the shot is on a piece of what looks like skin, and it's like a light sort of like tan color, and then you see a nail placed on it, and then a thwack, and it pulls back, and it's a piece of leather, not a piece of skin, not human skin at least, and she is putting in some like holes to what's going to become a belt, and she is like she has a special like holder that like holds the leather in place, and a special hammer to like nail the things in. Then she puts in some nice rivets, and then holds it up to the light and says, "Lenny will love this." And she's going to bring it down to her friend Lenny at the grocery store, who's had a frayed belt for years, and she decided to replace it.
Aww.
Suspenders just don't look good on him, you know?
No, they don't. And her workshop is like an external garage the size of like one car, but she's turned it into her like carpentry leather workshop. And the main thing in the middle is basically like a big bench, almost like a saddling bench, but like a leather work, station where it's like all scarred, gnarled old wood, like a butcher block vibe or like a drafting table type thing. But it has a lot of like clamps and a nice ergonomic seat where she can sit nice and high in a stool and have a good posture and adjustment over her leatherwork. So yeah, she's just hanging out wearing her vest, and then she hears the phone ringing inside and pushes up her stylish like museum granny oversized colorful glasses, but these ones are safety glasses, and she pushes them up into her hair, wild mop of white and gray curly hair, and gets down, dusts off her hands from the sawdust that's just permanently around, and walks inside to her kitchen to answer the phone for one of her foster kids.
And on each of our calendars, the waterproof one in the sauna, the waterproof one for Violet.
Splash zone.
Yeah. The word of a day calendar stained with egg wash in Billy's kitchen, and also the hanging calendar next to the phone in Joyce's sitting room. Tonight is a meeting of the murder mavens.
Whee!
Yay!
I love them.
I'm so excited. I love them so much.
Now, Amanda, how do these people make this one-shot happen?
Sorry, I really thought you were going to prompt me to talk as Scout.
Hold on one second. So, Scout, if the people want to hear more about our murder mavens, how do they do that?
Well, you can go to patreon.com/jointhepartypod to vote in the free poll that everyone can vote in to see which one is going to be good. But hang on. Loose lips sink ships and early votes don't count. So make sure you wait until after next week when our third Derby episode airs. I don't know what year it'll be. Hopefully one where things are better. Certainly it won't get worse for the next few years at all. And then you can go ahead and vote, because once you vote and once we see which character creation episode we make into a full one-shot, only our patrons can hear it, okay? So get yourself ready and join up at patreon.com/jointhepartypod. Also, further, this accent's getting away from me. Don't mention the internment camps, okay? Seriously. We're going to wrap this war up in under a year. Things get worse before they get better.
Great. Let's end there.
The LitHub podcast is the new flagship podcast from lithub.com. Every Friday, host Drew Broussard is joined by LitHub staff, writers, and other special guests to chat about everything interesting, strange, and wonderful happening in literary culture. Previous topics include which new books you should check out in 2025, AI companies' attempts to disrupt the publishing industry, and, of course, Luigi Mangioni's Goodread page. There is so much more in the LitHub podcast. You should listen now. Go to lithub.com or subscribe to the LitHub podcast wherever you listen to your pods.